Joining us now is Tennessee Congressman Marsha Blackburn. Congressman, good to see you. Was that a mistake what Republicans tried to do with the Ethics Division?
Dagan, the timing was terrible, I'll tell you that, but that's when the ethics or the rules package is voted, is before we are sworn in. Now, what we were seeking to do and what there is bipartisan agreement on is that this needs to be changed. The Office of Congressional Ethics, which is different from the Committee on Ethics. This entity we were addressing yesterday is independent. It was set up by Nancy Pelosi, and people agree there were some mistakes when it was set up, and it needed to be changed. You needed to bring transparency, accountability. People that are accused need to know who the accuser is and why they're accusing them. They need to be able to have a way to have recourse through this process. And what you didn't have is that taking place. Anybody could anonymously file a complaint and accusation against you, and then you would have to go and defend yourself. And there is no due process that was allowed. And due process is something that is very important. You should be able to face your accuser. And individuals were spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend themselves. Right. So this straightening out the OCE is an important part of draining the swamp, because any special interest who is upset with you because of a position can go file a complaint against you. You never know who it is.
But you'll admit that the timing looked bad.
Oh, the timing was terrible.
Okay.
And we'll come back and revisit it. And as Lee will tell you, all politics has an essence of timing in it, and the timing on this was terrible. It should be done in a bipartisan manner. As a matter of fact, in 2007, some of the changes we were putting into the rules were changes the Democrats had recommended. And at that point, they were the ones in charge. Yeah.
Well, the Republicans are in charge now, and really first on the agenda is repealing Obamacare. And former Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, who talks about Obamacare as if everything's working just fine except for increased costs, she did caution repealing it and not having a replacement on deck in place in terms of how it might affect insurers in these markets. I wanted to get your response to that.
Well, let me tell you, one of the things that we know is this is a product that is too expensive to afford. And we have said that since 2010, February of 2010, as a matter of fact, with the Blair House Healthcare Summit. And you can look at the private sector model we rolled out at that point and the government model that they rolled out at that summit. Now, Dagan, what has happened is the government model is too expensive to afford. Private sector is what we are moving toward. We will do a phase out and a phase in. This will be an orderly process. Our goal is to make certain that we increase the access to affordable health care for all Americans, because right now the product in the marketplace cannot be afforded, and it is too expensive to use when you do get it.
So we know that people aren't satisfied with the ACA as it is, but there are some people who say we want to repeal in place, but they want to keep certain components of it. Are there any components right now that you're looking at keeping?
Well, of course, there are two components that are very popular that were actually Republican ideas, and that is letting young adults stay on their parents' insurance, and then also allowing for those with pre-existing conditions to have high-risk pools. Now, there are different approaches on the high-risk pools. Ours is something that you would leave the states more in charge of that risk pool, and the modeling would be more like something that comes from a workers' comp type pool. And what the Democrats wanted to do, and did through Obamacare, was to federalize that. And we're just saying there needs to be a different model for that.